The clock is ticking and the time is running out. Welcome along to Mexico for round 19 of 24 in the Breakout Racing League Realistic Performance Championship and the Mexico City Grand Prix. We are here in one of the oldest cities in North America, Mexico City then, a city that sits 2,000 meters above sea level. Well, that elevation means the air is thin and the aerodynamics are a necessity. Mexico City is also the capital of Mexico and a country that possesses 10 to 12% of the world's biodiversity and the fourth most in the world. But today it hosts the Mexico City Grand Prix, a name that has been changed from the Mexican Grand Prix a season ago. Speaking of the Mexico City Grand Prix, let's talk about the circuit then. The Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez has held 22 Grand Prix, with the first coming in 1962. It has 17 corners. 7 to the left and 10 to the right, which makes up the 4.3 kilometer, 2.7 mile distance. There are 3 DRS zones, one on the run into turn 1, on the run into turn 4 and 12, which will aid overtaking and actually increase the average lap speed to 197 kilometers per hour, or 122. It is slower than a week ago, but it's quick indeed. Well, like always, the tire wear is always a talking point. Pirelli have brought the C4, C3, and the C2 tire compounds, with the C4 being the red-walled softs, C3 being the yellow-walled mediums, and the C2 being the white-walled hards. The intermediates and full wets are also available if the conditions call for it right now. It is sunny and clear in Mexico. No need for it right now. But one thing that's going to be called for is not necessarily tire drop-off, but the focal point is which is faster, the one-stop or the two-stop. We'll find out race time in a few moments' time. A week ago, the gap at the top between Minico and Unsighted Port was 10 points. Well, now it sits at 20 after what happened a week ago in Coda. Well, now let's look at third. Deer Hunter is tied on points with the Unsighted Port machine in the McLaren. Can he probably be a dark horse for this championship fight? His teammate Cookie in the other Mercedes sits 29 points off of his teammate Deer Hunter in fourth and is not too far away from the championship itself, 49 points to be exact. Taylor Klein, the other McLaren, sits in fifth ahead of Bailey in the Haas in sixth. In seventh sits Moo in the Alpha Tauri. Ron Swanson sits eighth, Ferrari at ninth, and Crispy rounds out the top 10. Well, speaking of, by the way, both Alpines and Ron Swanson, they are in danger of championship elimination mathematically. More on that later. In the Constructors' Championship, McLaren leads by 44 points, about a race ahead of Red Bull. Well, how will that play out so far tonight? Because they still have Mercedes behind them as well. Red Bull needs to move on, and Mercedes wants to charge and continue their charge. They've had some extreme momentum as of late. They want to continue that here in Mexico City. Alpha Tauri sit fourth, with Alpine not too far behind, 80 points to be exact. So it's kind of, a little far behind to be fair. Ferrari 34 points behind Alpine, with Aston Martin behind them in seventh. Alfa Romeo sit eighth, with Haas 5 points behind them, and Williams found out the top 10, 6 points behind Haas. Not too far away from those 3 teams in the bottom of the tables. Now Maycatcher joined alongside by Bois. Now Bois, once again, it's a long run in this turn 1, and it very well could be a very chaotic start. Do you think drivers had that in the back of their mind come race time?
I think they will. I mean, how many times have we seen this before in actual real-life racing? How turn 1 can cause a little bit of mayhem. But what's really going to cause mayhem, you remember you were talking about strategies, one-stop, two-stop, tires, soft, medium. You remember that? Yeah. Just imagine you having all those sheets of papers of what your strategy wants to do, and then you click the screen and it says it's going to be a wet race. And you literally just throw all those papers in the air because it's useless now. The rumor is it's a wet race, full wet race. So that kind of changes everything you want to do in this qualifying session. You might use mediums here to get into Q2, but reality is I expect a lot of soft running in Q2 and Q3.
Well, that's going to be something to play out for the wet conditions in Mexico City. How does it play out for the drivers once again tonight? Crispy, by the way, sets provisional pole with a 116.7 on the medium compounded tire. So maybe trying to save those softs for Q2 and Q3 respectively. If it is a wet start, he'll need as much softs as he possibly can because they're going to be starting on those softs. It's not going to be innards or wets, so depending on how it plays out. Look at Deer Hunter, though. He was looking. He's hit the Alpine.
I was just about to mention that. Crispy might get a little bit of a meeting about that. He already completed his lap while Deer was on his, and clearly in the way. And yeah, he's still in the way.
Well, both to the pit lane. Deer Hunter was trying to go for a flying lap, but was blocked the entire way by Crispy. In fact, they actually came together down into, well, the final sector before the stadium section. And, well, we'll see how that plays out with the Stewards Inquiries. Valkyrie in the Alfa Romeo tonight. We'll have going through a little bit of the reserves going through. Mean Fern is in the other Red Bull, the second one. Tweaking could not make it here tonight. Brake Tester 2, you'll see it down in 16th, is Bailey. He's doing a little bit of a tribute to Feta, who's well, his home Grand Prix was going to be tonight, but he couldn't make it. And if you do remember, back a couple seasons ago, Brake Tester 1, that's the infamous account. That's the reference to that. Alpha Nieces once again in the Alpha. Towery, Raptor, Taylor Minico. Toneless Death once again reserving for unsighted port. That is a huge point. He's not here once again. That's going to affect him in the championship. Ardell reserving for Feta. Ron, he's going to have some work to do in the championship himself. KP21, DXC Ishigo. Valkyrie in the Alfa Romeo, taking his seat, by the way, with DXC Ishigo, I believe, in the Ferrari. Luciano in the Aston Martin once more. Cookie, Mumu, Deer Hunter, Crispy. It's all kind of the same. Oh, the top 5 or so. But once again, it's going to be chaotic. We have Q1 to go through, and Boss Cookies on the mediums.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the chat. Yeah, that is going to be a discussion for later, as you've only had Crispy set a time, and Manico leaves the pits. We're coming to the end of the championship, and a championship that is tight on both fronts. As you mentioned, the championship lead is only 20 points separating first to third. And Cookie's, he's not that far behind if he can get some races together for the end. And then, of course, a championship battle for constructors.
Speaking of constructors, we have a little bit of a battle in the bottom 3. One of them being Haas, trying to go and once again overtake Alfa Romeo. Well, to do so, let's go to talk to the team principal of Haas. Ethan, welcome back to the booth.
Hi. Nice to meet y'all again. It's been a while since I've been in this booth. Yeah.
So once more, obviously for the Mexican fans, it is your home Grand Prix. It's also Fetas, who is not here tonight. So obviously you have Bailey doing that little bit of a tribute to his account from a couple seasons ago and a tribute to him. But how well do you think this Haas is going to handle here tonight with obviously Ardell stepping in for Feta? And what do you think those your drivers can do here tonight?
Well, I don't know anything about Ardell. They just tossed him to the car, so I'm hoping that he does well in the car, knowing it's a terrible car. And I'm expecting a bit from Bailey due to the fact that he's a quick driver. But I really won't be expecting much out of both of these drivers due to the fact it's a Haas. This track is quite dependent on speed and cornering, so basically both, and which the Haas doesn't have, sadly. But yeah, I'm just hoping that we're able to squeeze at least 1 point, which I'll be happy with. But if we don't score any points, I'm fine with that. If we're able to beat the Williams and Alpha, that would be perfect for me and my team.
Speaking of Williams and Alpha, you actually are in a championship battle, like I said earlier, with them. A couple races to go. Round 19 or 24, obviously, so there's about 6, including this one. Do you think you can catch them?
Oh, yeah. With both of my drivers that I have lined up, definitely. I'm quite positive that we're able to catch up.
Well, we'll see how it starts, because it's going to start today. And how well that Haas team, and your Haas team more specifically, will do, will be up to this man, Ardell, who goes up to the line in 5th, by the way, and his teammate, Brake Tester 2, a.k.a. Bailey. So once again, thank you for joining and stopping by in the booth. Good luck to you and your team tonight.
All right. Good luck on commentating, guys.
So while that was happening, Luciano up to 2nd, 26 milliseconds off of Boss Cookie. He's on the soft compounded tire, the Aston Martin. Showing a little bit of pace early on, but Minico also went the mediums, 2/10 off a pole originally.
Yeah, I wonder if Minico's just saving a set of softs and just running mediums. That time should be okay. I mean, we only had 8 set at a time. Now, I'll say this about Ethan and when it pertains to Haas. If this was a straight-up dry race, I think Haas would be really struggling to even get near the points. Being the fact that it's going to rain kind of changes things up a bit. It might give them a shot.
Very well might. And also it's going to give a lot of these guys, especially this Scarlet Red Ferrari, a chance. DXC Ishigo and his teammate Ron Swanson for tonight. What can they do? We've seen Supply Raptor. We've seen the Alpines. We've seen a lot of guys this season have some very quick pace on these damp or full wet conditions. Well, now with the Mexico City Grand Prix. High elevation above the sea level, 2,000 meters once again. So once again, downforce is going to be already on the car. So now it's going to be up to, I guess, the great equalizer, the rain. who gets what. The Alpines have looked really quick this season, theoretically and statistically, in the wet. Do you think it's them again?
It could very well be. I mean, this is kind of a unique track to where the straight line speeds are so fast, but the air is so thin. They run basically a downforce setup that is similar to Monaco, if you'd like. But we've seen the Alpine. Hungary is one great example. Monaco, where they had the double podium, where when it's not really an engine-dependent sort of race, they've been able to be at the front of the grid. So we'll see how that shakes up. I mean, they have to qualify hopefully more up front to take advantage of it.
All right, now, speaking of up front, Crispy went provisional pole by about 4/10 or so from Boskuki in the Alpine, a 15.6. So he's provisionally pole, and Freundt, his teammate, is on a flying lap going down into the stadium section. Can the Alpine put his up next to Crispy? Can he get in the top 5? Can he get on pole provisionally? We'll find out, especially this qualifying one session. 6 minutes and 55 seconds left to go. The Alpine goes around turn 17 for the final time. On his lap, goes up to 6th.
Yeah, so far good showing for them, but still waiting to see what both McLaren's. Oh, I just realized that Unsighted Port's not here. That's gonna. If you're Manico and if you're Deer, this is a great opportunity for you.
100%. And to be fair, Cookie is not too far away from Unsighted Port. So theoretically, both Mercedes can actually get ahead of the McLaren of Unsighted Port here tonight and go challenge Minico. Not only can they get ahead of the Unsighted Port and the McLaren machine for the drivers, they could also possibly pass Red Bull, and that'll be huge for their championship fight in the Constructors.
Yep, I tell you, it's been a nice comeback by Mercedes. I mean, but halfway through the year, not even at the halfway point, we thought this was a championship that Red Bull pretty much looked to be kind of running away with it. The Mercedes has slowly and surely clawed their way back into it, and so has McLaren, but really tremendous job what Mercedes has done the second half of the year so far.
Yes, theoretically, they are right now the team with the highest momentum going into the Mexico City Grand Prix. Let's see how that places him tonight. DX Ishigo goes up to 10th and puts himself in the top 10 ahead of his teammate by about 9/10 of a second. Right now, the driver at risk is going to be Ardell in the Haas. 2.8 seconds off a pole. KP21, Toneless Death, and Alphanesis have yet to set a time. Toneless Death and the McLaren is on a flying lap. Crispy could be joining, Chili could be joining in a little bit later on. He's having a little bit of connections issues to the server itself. We may see that other Aston Martin here tonight. Maybe not. We'll have to find out how that plays out for him. Hopefully he can get into the session.
Looking at Toneless Death, who's in Sector 3, the third DRS. Going to complete his first lap. So far hasn't invalidated. Gonna have a little, possibly a traffic issue here. Nope. Mercedes wisely gets out of the way. And we'll see what type of time he produces. 7th.
Good luck.
Oh, Ferrari nut. Is he retired on track or is that in the pit lane?
Pit lane.
Interesting. With KP21 and Alphanese not going yet, one would assume in Alphanese he's just leaving pit lane now. He should be theoretically where his teammate Mumu is in terms of pace. I wouldn't have retired that if I was Ferrari nut.
Maybe he feels confident. We'll find out. So far, by the way, Valkyrie now moves himself up into the top 15. Ardell is at risk. He's on a flying lap in a few moments' time. He's on an out lap right now. 7/10 off of that cut line. Alphanesis has yet to set a time. He's on an out lap on track as well. Times are going to ramp up. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Crispy retires to the pit lane. Taylor Clan, by the way, went 16 milliseconds off of him. Looking close up top. Provisional pole. Medium so far have gone on for Mumu, for Meanfern, for Deer Hunter, for Minico, for Boss Cookie. Both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, and the AlphaTauri of Mumu.
Yep, Alphanese is coming out of the baseball, or what was the baseball stadium, that's pretty cool, by the way. I like how they incorporated that to this layout. He starts a lap. Boss Cookie's retired. Interesting to see how many of these drivers actually got any wet rain practice. We can attest to this from yesterday. You did more laps in the rain than I did up to. I did 3 laps.
I had no front wing, so.
I had. Ooh, Nico almost ran into the back of. I believe that's. Is that DXD? No, that was Ron. Luckily, no contact was made. Yeah, you at least could keep it on the track. But be honest, I couldn't. I did 0 laps before the rain race.
Well, you know, different beast of one of the 2 cars, the realistic cars we have right now. Alphanesis going through into the final sector. What can the Alpha Tauri do? Going through now the stadium section once more. His teammate's up in 8th. He's on the medium compounded tire, the C4. Can Alphanesis get himself in the top 10 out of the danger zone? He has 2 minutes to do so. Well, he kept it valid. He'll go to the line this time through 17. What can the Alpha Tauri do?
Oh.
He goes for original pole by about 0.3 of a second.
With the pace that he's had the last 3-4 races, ever since being in this seat, he could be a threat to win this race as well if it's going to be a wet race. You know, if memory serves me right, I know he got podium last week. He said, I know 2, maybe 3 podiums. Oh, Ron's retired from pit lane.
Well, that's crucial because right now, Valkyrie, Ardell, and KP21. Right now, Ron is the driver at risk. They have 1 minute and 13 seconds. Valkyrie's on a flying lap. Ardell is invalidated. He will not, it may be close. He may not make it to the line. KP21 is crossing the line to start a flying lap now for the Williams. He may have a shot to go and knock off the Ferrari into Q1. Can he get up into Q2? We'll have to find out. Brake tester, a.k.a. Bailey, is not too far ahead of Ron. He's a 10th or so ahead in the Haas. DXD Ishigo thinks he's safe. 1.5 seconds off of original pole. Looks like Bailey's actually backed off of it. Yes, he has. He may go for another one, though.
Yeah, Valkyrie's backed off of his lap. So he'll have another go in the Alfa Romeo. Ardell is invalidated, but I believe Ardell, and for sure, they'll have the chance to start one more lap. Have to find about 7/10 for Valkyrie. A little bit over 7/10.
Let's see. Will Ardell make it to the line? He does. 11 seconds to go. 10 seconds now. And that's crucial for KP21 as he's invalidated through the middle sector. He's out of qualifying in the Williams.
Watching Valkyrie through Sector 1. He's going through the second DRS straight now. And we'll see what his time is after the first sector. He is a half a tenth quicker. He's going to have to find about 7/10 now through Sector 2 and Sector 3. Ardell behind him. I know what he got in Sector 1.
We'll see. Because now it's do or die for these drivers. Brake tester, and now, the Haas invalidates on the final chance. Now it's up to Valkyrie. What can he do? He's only 6/10 or so off of Ron. In the danger zone, the Ferrari. But he's a driver at risk. Can the Alfa Romeo knock him off?
He's had to find about 5/10 of the Spaceball section.
It's doable. To the final corner.
Oh!
He goes now. A little bit squirrely on exit. Can the Alfa Romeo knock off the Ferrari? No, he can't. By 2/10, he is safe. What can Ardell do in the Haas? Can he get himself into Q2? No, he can't. Ron is safe. Valkyrie, Ardell, and KP21 are out of the Mexico City Grand Prix qualifying 1.
Heck of a try there by Valkyrie and Ardell. And with that, we had 4 guys. Well, both Mercedes, both Red Bulls did their laps on mediums. Have to note that for later.
That gives them an extra set of softs they can use in qualifying 2 and qualifying 3 respectively, because right now they will not have to start on those softs if it does indeed go for that full wet race and full wet start. So, do they go aggressive in qualifying 2, maybe do multiple runs if they're not safe? Or definitely they have to be aggressive in qualifying 3. But right now qualifying 1 is done. Alphanesis and the Alpha Tauri tops the timing sheets ahead of Crispy in the Alpine. Taylor Clan third. Luciano fourth. Boss Cookie fifth on the medium tire. Minico sixth. Deer Hunter seventh. Toneless Death eighth. Moo Moo ninth. Supplied Raptor rounds up the top 10. Meanford in 11th. Also on the medium compounded tire as well. Ferrari Nut in 12th. Looks like his retiring in the pit lane wasn't so, I guess, aggressive after all. DXC Ishigo 13th in the Ferrari. Brake Tester 2, a.k.a. Bailey, in 14th. And Ron Swanson in the other Ferrari in 15th. They make it into qualifying 2, but Valkyrie, BRL Ardell, and KP21 will not make it into qualifying 2. They are out of qualifying 1 in the Mexico City Grand Prix.
That's a supply game in the top 10.
Great job from him. He could definitely be a factor. We've seen his pace so far in the Williams. He's gotten to qualifying 3 on a couple of occasions. Well, can he probably grab some points, some good points for Williams here tonight?
Well, we've seen rain races in the past. They kind of just, it's like a roll of the dice, just kind of a little bit of craziness with them. And we do get surprises. You know, remember France, remember Hungary, Russia. It wanted to rain, but didn't rain enough.
Well, a lot of drivers were probably thankful that it didn't rain.
Well, I think a lot of drivers, and I have this problem too. Anytime that rain's unrealistic, I just have PTSD from France, so you know. You know.
If you're unaware, that is when it, this is my favorite quote, that's why I'm going to say it. To quote Ron Swanson, the might of God appeared on the track, and
Yeah.
Conditions instantly changed.
It was like the Earth would all of a sudden went from being where it's at now to all of a sudden being where Mercury is to the sun in like 10 seconds.
A nuclear bomb was dropped on the track. It dried out instantly.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, wait, am I seeing this right? Oh.
All right, qualifying 2. Green light's flown. I guess green light is on, not flown. You don't fly a green light. Let's see who gets what and what tires they use, more specifically, in this session. And Bailey's out.
Well, nothing changes. Well, I mean, the name changes, and sometimes the car changes, but, you know. We missed this last week because Bailey was having connecting issues, I believe, so, you know. But this is the norm. We come to expect, mainly for Q3 and Q2, I'm sorry, Q1 and Q2, that we know who's going to be the first car leaving the pits.
That is true. And I would like to actually point out, I could be mistaken, but I don't think Bailey's actually made it into qualifying 3 since maybe Hungary.
It's been a minute as Alphanese is having a exploratory drive in Sector 1 on the grass. I don't know what this is about.
Just cutting some grass here.
I was thinking the same thing. He could be having a wheel glitch. I mean,
True.
if you had
Well, could be plausible.
Yeah, and hey, it looks kind of funny, but the last thing you want is to get hit and get a 5-place grid penalty. So if you had to reset his wheel, you know, just get as far as away from the racing line you can get, and he did that.
We could possibly see that a lot in the race, especially come turn 1, lap 1. We could see some drivers trying to take to the escape road. By escape road, I mean grass of turn 1, 2, and 3. So watch out for that.
Now, as Bailey starts this lap, one thing I have noticed on the map, you have both Alpines together, with Crispy leading Ferrari Nut, and then you have both Mercedes together with Deer leading Boss Cookie. So is this going to be a little bit of a slip game, or are they just deciding to go out near the same time?
It could be a little bit of both. I think Mercedes, it could be a little bit of a coincidence. For Alpine, it could possibly be
They look a lot closer.
a little bit of slipstream. So they could do it. Looks like Ferrari are doing the same thing.
Yeah. I think Ferrari's back just enough to where he won't really get a tow.
We're both Scuderia Ferraris, more specifically.
Yeah,
They're both on track together, too.
We guess.
So maybe it could be the slipstream game.
I tell you, so far we've not had any yellow flags or anyone really having any moments so far in qualifying.
Oh, you jinxed us. Bailey goes provisional pole. Brake tester 2. A 17.9 in the Haas.
I think
Alphanesis pits.
79.
What you got?
Oh, nothing. I forgot to get one thing up. Yep, yeah, I see what you're talking about. Now you got the Ferraris in a Mercedes sandwich.
Oh, crispy. The exit. Got a little bit of oversteer and thus invalidated on the exit of the corner, and he's going to be kicking himself because that was looking like it was going to be a really good lap. His teammate, though, behind him in the Alpine. Ferrari Knight got a little bit of slipstream, I believe. Maybe so, maybe not, but he got provisional pole anyway. 16-3.
This whole team strategy, it works to get an advantage of a toe, but we saw this in real life at Mexico with Red Bull. If your teammate ahead of you makes a mistake, it could potentially not just cost one of your team's cars, it could cost both.
Well, speaking of, Cookie invalidated, Deer went provisional pole. So the Mercedes cars had a little bit of a differing lap around the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Yes, look at this. Ferrari are doing a little bit of slipstream. Ron on the mediums, getting out of the way from DXD should go on the soft compounded tire, and vice versa. I believe later on, whenever Ron does his flying lap, as long as DXD Ishigo doesn't get, I guess invalidated more specifically, he could see a good lap at the end of it.
Look at DXD's cockpit area.
It's just, you know,
Yeah.
it's,
Mark Webber tribute.
tribute to Mark Webber.
Yeah.
Yes. Seen it with Brake Tester 2, tributing to Feta, a.k.a. Brake Tester 1. Might as well have Mark Webber being tributed by DXD Ishigo.
I love Mark's quote at the end of that, like, what are they going to do, find me? It's my last race.
Ah. Well, they may not be able to find Mark Webber, but they could definitely find DXD Ishigo for that track limits. He's been invalidated on his flying lap, and we'll have to do another one.
Well, guess you'll have to do another one. The question is, will the Ferraris still keep to their tactics if that was... Dang, Boss Cookie gets
Wow. 43 milliseconds over his teammate Deer Hunter, but both Red Bulls are on a flying lap. Minico going to the final corner. He goes provisional pole by about a tenth of a second. 14-9, first one of the 14s.
Yep, we've had 8-7, set a time. Both Alpha Tauris have not set. Both Ferraris not set a time, and neither has Mean Ferns or Supply. Crispy did invalidate.
See Mean Fern, the second Red Bull. Can he go match his teammate or go into the top 5? He does go fourth. 7/10 off a pole.
That's a good lap as we have a Alpha Tauri stopped.
Moo
Is
letting through the McLaren, I believe, of Tom Lestef.
Oh, that's okay. I looked and I thought that's what he was doing.
Oh, Raptor has crashed. The exit of turn 3. Into the wall. You see him in the distance. On board with Tom Lestef and McLaren. You see him on the right-hand side. Yes, he's out of qualifying. He's crashed out and will take no further part. That's a shame. Raptor looked like he had some pace in the Williams. Well, he'll start from at least maximum P13.
I didn't catch it. Was it the outside wall or inside wall?
The outside wall.
Interesting.
Maybe a little bit too early on the power.
I
And
wonder.
barriers he went.
I wonder if it was a little bit too early on the power and the curve's not helping. Yeah.
Definitely so. Alphanesis. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there for the Alpha Tauri. He goes across the line in 5th on the medium compounded tire. He's doing the opposite of what these guys did in qualifying 1. He's doing a medium run now.
Well, we'll see. That is a very good lap on mediums. 2/10 quicker than Taylor, who also did a lap on mediums. So far, Brake Tester is on the bubble, and DXD's time, well, let's just say, don't look at that time because he will go faster.
True. 19 seconds off the pace. I think he could get a little bit of an improvement there.
See, who do you have? I think Mumu jumps to P4. So far, good showing for AlphaTauri. Who?
So far, so good. Both in the top 6. Not bad indeed.
Yep, they've been very, very solid. They've had their ups and downs, but they've been the more consistent team outside of your top 3. They pretty much, barring some sort of a collapse, have P4 in the bag.
Still enough to possibly have that. Because there's still 6 rounds left to go. We've seen what Mercedes could do in about 3 to 4 rounds. Maybe Alpine could probably mount a charge on the AlphaTauri team. Or maybe and vice versa. AlphaTauri could extend that gap and maybe try to go in, well, I would say pressurize McLaren, but that gap is pretty significant.
Yeah, for me, AlphaTauri, barring some fireworks up front, it was going to be very, very hard. I know early in the championship they were sitting that high, but when Mercedes, once McLaren and Red Bull finally started hitting their stride, it kind of everything worked out the way it should be, which isn't anything against AlphaTauri.
Speaking of, Crispy actually goes to 3rd. That's a really good lap. He actually beat Deer Hunter. On softs, too. It's a really good lap from the Alpine.
It's a very good lap. Wonder.
This one across the line may be Deer Hunter in the Mercedes. Yes, he will.
He must have made a mistake in Sector 1 because he's 5 seconds off his time.
Make that 9.
Yeah, I think he's recharging the battery. He doesn't have the fuel light on, so he could just be getting himself set up to do another go.
Either that or a parade lap into the pit lane.
That or he's waiting for his teammate who's sitting at the front stretch.
Oh, that'll do it.
No, he's just going to drive right by.
Goodbye. They didn't time that right.
I don't think it was a plan. I just noticed that where the other Mercedes was at in the mini-map point.
Unless maybe Deere is trying to be the one that gives slipstream to Cookie.
Well, let's see. He is definitely on a lap. And if that's going to be the case, Boss Cookie's going to have to close that gap unless Deere is going to give him a tow in the second DRS straight.
I think that, or maybe even into the 3rd and final DRS straight. If I don't think they time it right in the 3rd, never mind. I think the 2nd would probably be the better one, but they gave him the most time.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be
right to that.
I don't think you want to be following a car in those S's in Sector 2, Sector 3. It's already.
I think you'd be right.
Yeah, I mean, if you can pull it off, cool, but I don't think there's much to gain. You probably have more to lose by invalidating.
Deere went purple in Sector 2. He's only a 10th and a half off of provisional pole position in qualifying 2. He goes to the line now. Can he get provisional pole? He does get provisional pole, but that's a really good lap by Deer Hunter. 14.7 shoots ahead of Minico, and I guess they won't do that slipstream to Cookie because he actually goes in the pit lane.
Interesting. Approaching 3 minutes left. Right now, the McLarens sit on the bubble. The 16.4, basically a 16.5.
Well, they're not going to be wanting that right now, but this may not suit the McLaren as much as they wish. DXC Shigo starting a flying lap. Was going to get the slipstream from, I believe, Ferrari. Now, that was close. Almost hit the back of the Alpine there into 1.
So you got both Ron and Brake Tester, aka Bailey, just entering the baseball section. He will come out and have his second go. And Ron as well, he's about to enter the baseball section.
So now, the driver at risk, like you said earlier, toneless death. He's 3/10 clear of Luciano. He's at risk from DXC Ichigo, from Luciano, from Brake Tester, and from Ron Swanson. Supply Raptor crashed out of qualifying, and DXC Ichigo has invalidated through the middle sector again. Does he have enough fuel for a second run?
Going through sector 1, needs to find 1.6 to equal for Brake Tester. Time for sector 1 is 3/10 quicker.
Can he get there?
Well, the
Final sector.
The question is, well, actually, I take that back because Toneless Depth, I believe, is on a lap. I don't know if that's the car Bailey's going by now. But Ferrari Nut's time is virtually almost the same as Toneless Depth, so
we'll see. Through the second sector split. A second up for the Haas. He has one more section to go. Couple more corners. Can he get there? Can he get into qualifying 3? He hasn't been for a decent amount of time, especially ever since joining the Haas F1 team. Can he get there? And the team manager's home Grand Prix and his teammates' home Grand Prix in the Mexico City Grand Prix. He does get ahead of Luciano, but that is 4 milliseconds off of P10. Heartbreak for Bailey. He was oh so close.
that's one of those where after you cross the line, it's just better if you don't tell me the gap. Just don't.
Ron Swanson. He goes up in the top 10, though. So that outputs Ferrari Nut is the driver at risk.
Virtually a 16.332. With the amount of time left, Bailey will be done. Ron will be done. Mean Fern
See
going
what DXC Ichigo can do, though. He went purple in the second sector. Can he get into the top 10? He can't. He exactly equals Toneless Death this time. Heartbreak again.
Wow. Let's see, who else? Luciano. He's in sector 2 on a lap. This will close it out for him.
By the way, Taylor Clam moved up to 6. Checkered flag flies, so it's going to be down to this. Luciano, can he get up there? Toneless Death, I believe he's on a flying lap going through the final corner now. He doesn't. That's Taylor Clan. Toneless Death's down into turn 4. Yellow flag through turn 5 and 6.
If he can keep it together,
Alpine and Ferrari ahead of him.
If Luciano can keep it together, he'll be in the top 10. He is 0.6 quicker.
Can he get there?
Wow.
He does get there, up to 8th. That pushes Ferrari Nut out of the top 10. He's now a driver at risk. Around the final corner, I believe that is going to be Ron Swanson. DXC Ichigo has invalidated his championship. I'm sorry, his qualifying charge is over. Brake Tester 2. Oh, Ferrari Nut almost loses the car into the stadium section.
Toneless
is purple in the second sector.
Toneless is coming down the baseball sector. He was a 10th quicker on his second lap after sector 2. This is going to be very, very close.
Ferrari Nut didn't improve. Toneless Death, he does improve, up to 10th. Wow. He pushes Alphanesis out of qualifying at the last possible moment. Ferrari Nut was close and had a couple of snaps. He went purple in the second sector and lost it all in the final sector. Toneless Death makes qualifying 3. Alphanesis gets dropped out.
Before the screen switched, P10 to P12, separated by 0.05, give or take. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, there it is right there. Just look at that. P9 to P14, 15. You're only separated there by 0.3. But look how it is from P10 to basically P12, how close that is.
Close indeed. Alphanesis didn't get a set of time on the soft compounded tire, but everyone in the top 10 did. It would not necessarily matter because it's going to be a wet start, but Deer Hunter goes provisional pole and tops the timing sheets in qualifying 2. Miniko in second, Mumu in third in the Alpha Tauri, Boss Cookie in fourth, Crispy, then Taylor, then Mean Fern, then Luciano. Ron Swanson makes qualifying 3. Toneless Death makes qualifying 3, but Alphanesis, Ferrari Nut, DXT Ichigo, Brake Tester, and Supply Raptor are out of qualifying 2 for the Mexico City Grand Prix.
Interesting enough, we've only had one on-track retirement, and that was Supply.
Still plenty of time, especially with the rain.
Well, I would hope not. Is it just me? Has it gotten more shady?
Maybe a little bit. Let's see who's the first one out this time. Drivers have a little bit more soft compounded tires at their disposal, especially those in likes of Red Bull and Mercedes. And speaking of that, there is a Red Bull, an Alpine, and a McLaren out now.
Yep, Boss Cookie now coming out as well.
So there we go. We have the first 4 challengers. Taylor Clan, the McLaren team. Crispy in the Alpine. Minico in the Red Bull. And Boss Cookie in the Mercedes. I believe that is the AlphaTauri. Mumu actually coming out as well. There's the first 5.
Well, this is going to be pretty much a straight up show me what you got session. It's no clever, no games. We might see a toe game, but see, well, outside of Luciano, Swanson, and Crispy, everyone else, we got 3 teams of 2 pairs. McLaren, Mercedes, and Red Bull.
Ironically, the top 3 in the championship.
Both, yeah.
So, once again, it's all up to this. Qualifying 3 in Mexico City. Starts as soon as Taylor Clan will cross that start-finish line. What lap will he set? He'll be the first one. Everyone's going to have to chase after. That's a Red Bull of, I believe, Meanford now going across, and he's going to go on his out lap. But now Taylor Clan crosses the start-finish line. The Alpine behind him. Crispy, he starts his flying lap. Minico in the Red Bull, he'll start his flying lap behind him. Not too far removed. Boss Cookie, he's going to start his flying lap in the Mercedes. Who gets pole? It's going to be crucial here in Mexico City. It's going to be raining. It's going to be chaotic, but there's no DRS to fall back on.
No, but the more you're up front, the better the vision is. Especially for that rundown going into 1. I mean, talk about just the rundown of what could happen. Let's be fair here. Starting 10th, you're not going to be able to see a lot.
True. Purple Sector 1 for the Mercedes of Boss Cookie. Is that something to look on for this lap? Minico going through the second sector now. Taylor Clan is going into the final sector now.
Yep, the only ones that we don't have out are, well, Deer and Toneless Death have not come out of the track yet.
Well, their teammates, Luciano, their teammates now, it's the wrong person, are going to be completing their flying lap. Taylor Clan, the first one across the line. What are we chasing? A 15-2. Crispy behind him in the Alpine. What does he chase? He backed off. Behind him, though, Minico. He's going through the final corner.
Oh.
He's actually invalidated as well.
Boss Cookie got kind of sort of caught out with the traffic, and he'll come in and pit. And the Alpine of Crispy, and I believe that was Meanford getting ready to start their lap.
What's happened there?
Oh, I think just a discussion over space.
On Swanson, speaking of space, went off the track a bit and validated his flying lap. Meanfern's going to be on a flying lap. He's going down into turn 4 now. You see ahead of him the Alpine of Crispy getting out of the way. And ahead of him now directly on track, his teammate Minico in the Red Bull. He could be going again.
Oh, Ron decides to take out the bollard there. Ron. Tell you one thing we have not mentioned, and because, well, there are a lot of them in F2, and we've seen how many people have been validated so far. Penalties could definitely be a factor later on this race.
More on that in a later date.
Oh, okay. I jumped the gun on that. My bad.
Jump start. Well, it's not even been into the session yet. Drive-through penalty.
Fine.
Minico going through turn 16 into 17 now for the Red Bull. Does he go provisional pole? Yes, he does by about a 1/10 of a second over Taylor Clan. His teammate behind him, Meanford, he's invalidated. But Luciano behind him, he's on a flying lap. He's also actually invalidated as well. Never mind. Disregard.
I think I started a trend.
What have you done?
I said the P word. Don't say the penalty word.
You shouldn't, but Mumu goes to the line. He goes for original pole by 56 milliseconds. What a lap for Mumu in the AlphaTauri.
Well, So, yeah, so far we only have those three that have set a time. Very, very close between those three. Mimu, Maniko, and Taylor.
He will be the next to start his flying lap. Going through 17 now he goes, and behind him, I believe, is going to be Toneless Death and the McLaren. Yes, it will. Behind him now into the final sector, the stadium section, is going to be Boss Cookie, Deer's teammate. Then you have both Red Bulls once more.
Yeah, everyone's kind of spaced out. Shouldn't have any problems.
Cookie was starting his flying lap. Does Miniko improve? He does not. He pits. Does Meanfern want to cross the line, or does he go in the pits as well? He does not go in the pits. He comes across the line. The Red Bull goes to fourth.
16 flat, so a pole and a second separates P1, P4.
Luciano invalidated. Now Mumu is going to be the next one. I don't think he's on a flying lap.
Luciano.
Could be. No, he's not.
Oh, Dieter had a little bit of a sideways moment at the end of the S's. Purple sector 2, though.
Speaking of, you said Ron, the Ballard. Well, Mumu took out the Ballard in the pit lane, so no Ballards into the pit lane we have. But Deer Hunter through the final corner now, into 17. Across the line he'll go. He needs to get a good chance at the championship. He has a 5/10 buffer to Mumu. Provisional pole for the Mercedes, but what can Cookie do behind him? He has to negotiate the final couple of corners. Toneless Death, he sets in his time in P6. 3/10 behind Meanfern, a second behind Taylor Clan. But what does Boss Cookie do? He needs to close up. He needs to try to get with his teammate Deer Hunter. He gets on the front row with them. A 10th adrift.
Good stuff from Mercedes.
Looking good already.
About 4 minutes.
Still about 5 minutes left to go in qualifying, though.
Well, if there was any track where you would like a front row lockout, this would be one. Also, I know we got the long run down into one, but with the rain, they would have the best visibility going into one.
See, Crispy's going to start his flying lap in the Alpine. He goes green.
Well, I think Crispy is the only one that's really on a time. Actually, yeah, Taylor's invalidated. And then we get the both Mercedes.
We'll see. Well, I guess we'll have a little bit of a, I guess, a ride with Crispy in the Alpine as he goes through the Mexico City circuit.
Yep, behind Crispy will be Ron. As Toneless comes into pit. So Crispy's going to have very good track ahead of him to complete his lap.
Well. Validated for Crispy.
Oh,
He's going to have to go back into the pit lane or hope he has enough fuel for another run. Everyone else is in the pit lane except for Ron Swanson in the Ferrari. He's not too far behind where Crispy was. Now he goes into the third DRS straight down to the turn 14 we go. Or, I'm sorry, turn 12 we go.
It looks like Crispy's trying to set himself up to have another go. And yep, that's exactly what he's doing.
We'll see. Ron will start his flying lap now. Him and Mumu are the only two, other than Crispy, out on track as well. And now 3. Luciano's coming out. Both Red Bulls are coming out. It's time to go.
Yep. Mumu went out on the grass to not impede Crispy, but more importantly, not give him a tow.
That is crucial. Because right now, Crispy has shown some really good pace, and that Alpine, if he gets a tow for Mumu, that could very well put him ahead of the AlphaTauri here tonight. Well, we'll see. Ron Swanson's going through the middle sector in a 6 and a 7 a few moments' time. It's time to go. Everyone's on out laps except for both McLarens and both Mercedes. They'll be joining them shortly. Well, in fact, Toneless Death is going now.
Let's see what Ron does. So far, he's kept it together.
The 12. And at 13 we go. What can Ron Swanson do in the Ferrari? Yellow flag to the first straightaway. First sector, I should say. Crispy is actually retired in the pit lane, but Ron Swanson doesn't really care about behind him. He cares about in front of him. He goes up to 7th ahead of Toneless Death by about, well, 7 milliseconds.
Luciano starts his lap. He might have the chance to get another lap, and yet, well, yes, he will, but we'll see if he needs to.
I believe the first one that will be actually to the line for a flying lap will be Mumu, and that's crucial because he's invalidated. He will need to have, hopefully, enough fuel for him to go one more lap. He's into 8th gear trying to save the fuel. Will he have enough? He's sitting 3rd in the Alpha Tower. He's an incredible qualifying so far for him. He would love to keep it there.
Mumu, purple sector 1, 2 tenths up on his time. As Mercedes,
Ron's now next.
I believe Mercedes just started their laps. Going through the S's is Manico. Half a second quicker, give or take.
Now let's see. Qualifying. It's coming very close. Luciano's going to be the next one across the line. He's invalidated. Behind him is going to be the Red Bull. Minico. He's a championship leader. He wants to start on pole. Provisionally would be good too. He does go provisional pole. A 14.3. His teammate Meanfern behind him in the Red Bull. Where does he go? He stays P6. The Alpha Tauri Mumu. He's going to start his flying lap next. The McLaren. I believe that is Taylor Clan. No, it's not. It's going to be his teammate Toneless Death. He's going through into turn 12 now. He's purple in the 2nd sector. Can Toneless Death do what he did a week ago and grab some good quality points for McLaren? It may not help him in the Drivers' Championship with unsighted port, but it'll definitely help him in the Constructors' Championship. To the line he goes for Toneless Death. He's 8th at the moment. He'll go ahead of Ron Swanson in 7th. Checker flag flies. Swanson is going to be in 8th provisionally. Now it's time for the 2 Mercedes. Deer Hunter. Through the final corner he goes. Can he go provisional pole? Can he go pole? He does go pole.
Wow.
By about 12 milliseconds. Boss Cookie, he starts and pits. Crucially, he will not improve. Mumu goes again. Meanfern, he could have a chance to go again. Minico could go again. Luciano, he could try to improve on his time. There's a McLaren really wide. Luciano invalidates. He's not going to improve. He's going to start 9th. So it's now going to be up to the Red Bull. If Minico's going for a 2nd lap, which he's not, going to be up to his teammate Meanfern. Can they disrupt what is happening? 1-3 with Mercedes. That's crucial, especially in the race. No DRS able. Can Meanfern get there? He cannot. What about Mumu, though? He doesn't also. He goes 4th. Qualifying's done in the Mexico City Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, interesting. Something happened to Taylor going into the baseball section of the track. I don't know if he just went wide, but that was the McLaren that went very, very wide there.
Well, it's already going to start off to be a really good race. We could have it start, and it could definitely end for a lot of drivers at turn 1. We'll see how it plays out, because right now, Mercedes, 1-3. Deer Hunter ahead of Manico, ahead of Boss Cookie. The top 3, once again, the same from a week ago. Mumu in 4th, a really good lap from the Alpha Tauri. He's ahead of Taylor Clan and the Red Bull of Meanfern. Toneless Death 6th, 7th. And we have Ron Swanson in 8th with Luciano not setting a time, and Crispy retiring in the pit lane. That's classification for the top 10 of the Mexico City Grand Prix. The race is next. And it's absolutely pouring here in Mexico City. We said it could be a wet race start. It's a full wet race start. So everyone is going to be on the full wet compound attire. No slicks, no intermediates. Well, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, dear. That's not just kind of rain. That's a lot of rain.
Well, this will be interesting. Who plays out in turn 1? Because now a lot of things are thrown out the window. DRS being one of them, the two-stop, the tire wear also being another.
Now one wonders if we're going to see a safety car due to visibility. We've had that a couple of times this year. And the way the conditions look outside would not surprise me.
Well, now we wait for the drivers to confirm everything they have ready ahead of the Mexico City Grand Prix for round 19 of the Breakout Racing League Realistic Performance Championship. Here is your grid. Deer Hunter takes pole position once more in the Mexico City Grand Prix. Alongside him, Minico in the Red Bull, but he has his teammate behind him, Deer Hunter, in Boss Cookie, where he has movement for company in the second row. Taylor Klein in the McLaren sits fifth with Mean Fern alongside him in the third row. Toneless Death, his teammate, is ahead of him directly. Taylor Clan, Toneless is going to seventh. Ron Swanson eighth. Luciano ninth. Crispy rounds out the top 10. Alfanisa shares the same row with him. With Ferrari Nut in the sixth row of the grid. DXE Ishigo sits 13th with Brake Tester 2. Tribute to Feta Cheese and Brake Tester 1, if you remember from a couple seasons ago. And 14th. Sly Raptor sits 15th with Valkyrie alongside him in the eighth row of the grid, with Ardell sitting 17th and KP21 rounding out from the last position on the grid in P18.
Did Chile ever make it?
No, he did not.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Connection issues?
Could not go into the lobby, so yes.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is indeed for the Aston Martin. We'll see if we can get him a week from now. But now we have to focus on the one ahead of us. The Mexico City Grand Prix. The formation lap is underway, and the visibility is absolutely horrid.
Yeah. This reminds me of, honestly, Belgium. It's wow.
Well, I saw in the comments, Neymar, the Mercedes team principal, stated pole isn't necessarily the best here in Mexico. Well, he's not wrong. 45% of races held in the Mexico City Grand Prix have been won from pole. So Deer Hunter is going to try to defy that statistic here tonight. But one thing to look at back on, the previous championship in Season 6, Season 2 of the Realistic Championship more specifically, was won here a season ago by the man in fifth. He was driving the Ferrari at the time, but for Red Bull, because a lot of complications with joining the lobby, a lot of long story. Regardless, he locked the championship here a season ago at Mexico. His championship rival won the race. He did all he could. But one thing to look at from Ritzy won the race. His championship rival, as I was speaking of, in the Red Bull, but 85% of that grid had a time penalty. Well, it's more relaxed. The wet weather is going to be more horrid and more atrocious and more lenient, more specifically on the track limits. And we see that again tonight. The top 10 are still mathematically in the championship hunt. Well, that could definitely dwindle at the end of this Grand Prix. Crispy, Ferrari Nut, and Ron Swanson, I said look out from this earlier on. We'll have to touch on this later. Those three are in danger of being eliminated from the championship. They all need to outscore the man in second, Minico. Ferrari Nut needs to get 25 points ahead of Minico. He needs to win the race. He's in a long shot here. Same with Crispy, his teammate. Ferrari Nut, his teammate. 21 points. He needs to outscore Minico. Once again, a long shot, but he has to get it done. The Alpines have done it before. Ron Swanson needs to outscore Minico by 12 points to stay in the championship hunt. It's doable. All three of these drivers can still be mathematically in the championship and push it on a week from now. But right now, speaking of pushing on, we can't push on this formation lap any longer. Well, correction. Brake Tester 2 wants a little bit longer. He's spun in the exit of turn 15. So we'll someone cue the Jeopardy music.
I would, but I don't want to get copyrighted. I could. We can't do the Titanic because we did get copyrighted. Remember Singapore Tier 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That was funny until it wasn't funny.
Well, speaking of Titanic, people are going to need some oars tonight. The race is absolutely pouring. The visibility is going to be atrocious, but it's time for the drivers to get going again. It's the Mexico City Grand Prix. For round 19 of the Breakout Racing League Realistic Performance Championship. Jump start from Dixie Ishigo. He's got a horrid start because he's going to be absolutely flying away, but it's been an intended start from Minico. Almost 4 wide. Now it's going to be, look at this, the start from Cookie in the Mercedes. He's going to be alongside his teammate Deer Hunter down to turn 1. They're going to be wheel to wheel, side by side, the 2 Mercedes team. Here comes the Red Bull of Minico. 4 wide. There goes moving down the inside of all of them. Contact made. Cookie ahead of Deer Hunter, ahead of Mumu, ahead of Minico, ahead of his teammate Meanfern. Look at Mumu go around the outside, down the inside of turn 3. Minico losing traction. The GXC leads Cookie, leads Mumu, leads Deer Hunter, leads Minico. Down to the turn 4 for the first time. They're not done yet. Mumu wants to make a look at this lead provisionally because GXC has a drive-through time penalty. And it's, well, it's been a chaotic start already. I said it will, but we're not done yet.
Meanwhile, in the back, Ron had a horrible start. I don't know if he made contact with anyone at the line, but he has dropped 9 spots to 17th. And at the start, Ferrari has
gets past Alphanesis, battle for 11th.
Interesting that DXD gets a drive-through. I mean, he didn't just kind of sort of jump. He really jumped the start.
He did, but now that advantage he had has been negated. Boss Cookie passes the Ferrari, but Ferrari sends it back into the turn 13. No contact made, but that's going to affect Mumu. He's going to be a little shuffled up, but look at this. Deer Hunter's been spun round. Actually, no, he's not.
No. Oh, Minico's in the wall.
He got to me. It looks like he was about to be spun round. It was contact with Minico, and it was contact even further again through turn 16. Well, they're going to go a battle once more. Mumu battling now with DXC Ishigo ahead of him. But look at the gap, 1.5 seconds from Cookie to now Mumu. As Mumu gets past the Ferrari of DXC Ishigo. But look at this, Minico defensive into turn 1. Deer Hunter around the outside of turn 1. Minico's going to get boxed in by the Ferrari of DXC Ishigo. Down the inside, they're going to go side by side through 2. Into 3. Minico forces the Mercedes off and stays 4th. Originally P3. But look at this, Meanfern, the Red Bull. He goes ahead of Deer Hunter. That's crucial for Minico. Deer Hunter down to 6th.
Meanwhile, in the back, Ferrari Nut holds the last point position. Got Alpines trying to claw their way back up front.
Look at this, though. Taylor Clan got past Meanfern. Now with this battle for 6th, Meanfern, Deer Hunter, they're side by side through 6 into 7. Meanfern's going to have the advantage, but Deer Hunter's not going to let it go lightly. Taylor Clan and the McLaren got ahead of him. Well, Deer Hunter wants to follow him through. Couldn't at the first possible chance. He has a chance a little bit later on. DXC should go falling down the field. Raptor gets past Brake Pester 2. Battle for 13th. The Williams up a spot.
Yeah, here's the queue-up cars right behind Meanfern. He basically has all the way to, I want to say 12th, basically all in one line here. And looks like DXC is now holding Taylor up.
That could be very effective for Meanfern. He may look at this. DXC Ishigo goes and pits to serve his drive-through. Oh, Crispy has made contact with Deer Hunter and into the wall, into the barriers goes the Alpine down the straightaway. But now Toneless Death's going to attack the Mercedes. To the left-hand side he goes. The McLaren will go and ahead of Deer Hunter up to 6. Meanford gets past Taylor, but they're going to go wheel to wheel into 2. Meanford stays ahead of Taylor into 3.
Now look at Crispy as Ardell. Oh, ignoring yellow flags.
Interesting.
Yep, Crispy has an end plate missing, so that's really going to hurt him. I didn't see a yellow flag. That's interesting.
Interesting indeed. But Cookie's gotten a gap of 2.5 seconds over Mumu. He now has a 7/10 gap to Minico, who has Meanfern behind him. Both McLaren, Sailor Clan, and Toneless Death ahead of Deer Hunter. Ferrari Nut up to 8th. Luciano 9th. Alphanesis has got his way into the points in 10th. And Valkyrie has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings and track extensions. That's now the second penalty of the day. Technically 3rd if you count DXC's drive-through.
Yeah, one thing about Ardell is at 5, he can't get that removed once he pits. Unfortunately for Valkyrie, that stays.
Deer Hunter had a late send. Sorry to cut you off, but he goes past Toneless Death at the... Oh, wow. That's a good move indeed. Late on the brakes from Deer Hunter. But now Ferrari Nut battles Toneless Death and the McLaren. They're not done.
Luciano.
They're just...
Did a half spin and saved
Ferrari Nut
it.
gets past Toneless. Minico gets past Mumu. Raptor gets past Luciano. It's all kicking off back here.
This is basically just a hornet's nest.
Yellow flag. Leaves Crispy. Rapture gets past. I'm sorry, Luciano gets past Rapture once more, where he overtakes the Williams. And off the track he goes. That may bring an incentive to the Williams now.
Good recovery from Supply. Had his issue in Q2. Could have been easily been in the top 10. Well, he had the pace for sure in Q1 to be top 10. He qualified 10th.
Well, now, Minico through on Mumu. Can he go close that gap down to Bosky? He's already done it a little bit. Taylor Clan not too far away from the Red Bull of Meanfern. He's looking for a podium here, the McLaren. Ardell, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings and track extensions. That'll be applied to the end of his race time.
Yep. Boss Cookie now getting near 2.8, 2.9 second lead over Mumu.
Look at that. Taylor got his elbows out on Meanfern and went for the move at turn 13. He got past the Red Bull, but now Deer Hunter is now in striking distance of the Red Bull once again. The last time he was, they were battling for a decent amount. Almost lost the car, Deer Hunter, but now he's going to go down the front straight away again.
Right.
Breaking the toe, the McLaren in front from Meanfern. No one is going to send it into turn 1 this time.
Yeah, fortunately now Taylor's ahead of this queue here. He is 5.5 seconds though behind the podium places. Oh.
Crispy retires in the pit lane.
Yeah, he's caught it. Oh, Meanfern with a dive. Didn't really pull it off.
Look at the switchback, though, into 6. He'll have the inside. Does he want to send it? He will send it on Taylor Clan. The wheel to wheel again. Meanfern makes a little bit of contact. He's going to stay in 5th, but Deer Hunter is just wishing he could find a way through. Same with Meanfern on Taylor.
I'll tell you who this has really played out really well for is Mumu. I mean, he's basically kind of sort of just kept Manico at bay or just in arm's length ahead, but more importantly, he has built a 6.5 second gap to his rivals behind.
Very crucial for the AlphaTauri driver. Remember, he was in the Red Bull at season's start. Well, now he had to travel along.
Oh, Manico spins.
Oh, that's crucial. Around and into the barriers. Does he have damage in the Red Bull? It looks like he does not. That I can see, but he's going to be down the order. Taylor now up on the podium. Meanfern's ahead of him. Deer Hunter is looking to get past Minico. Tries, but he cannot.
Yeah, it looked like the back end just snapped around when Nico went on the loud pedal. And that part's...
Well, now the gap is 4.9 seconds from Mumu.
I tell you, that part of the track, even in the dry, it is very, very tricky, let alone in the wet.
Deer looked for it twice, hitting the back of the rear wing of the Red Bull the first time and almost spinning himself the second time, hitting the Red Bull and the apex of turn 2. But now we have Deer Hunter battling down into turn 4. Deer Hunter will not let it go. But Ferrari Nut has the inside for 5. Still there on the outside for Deer Hunter.
Oh, Alpha East looked, he's thinking about it. Oh, Boss Cookie for 3 seconds.
Well, that now cuts the gap, theoretically, down to 2 seconds between Mumu and Boss Cookie.
That's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Boss just lost 3/10 just on that lap alone. Valkyrie's retired. Safety car. Valkyrie has retired of the S's.
And that hurts Boss Cookie and Mumu.
Yep, Ardell will get his 8 seconds down to 3 seconds if he decides to pit. And we'll see if anyone else pits. I don't know if Manico got damage or not through his spin. He did hit the wall earlier in the race when he was side by side with, I believe, Deere. Don't quote me. I know it's a Mercedes.
Deere pits. He's in for a new set of wets. Same with Ron Swanson and BRL Ardell. And DXD should go. Both Ferraris and the Haas.
Well,
So, we've had pretty much a chaotic 7 laps. We've now completed 6. We're on lap 7. We've lost Crispy and Valkyrie from the Mexico City Grand Prix. And it's been chaotic up front. Boss Cookie leads, Mumu leads, Taylor leads, both Red Bulls, a Minicoat and Reinfern. Then Ferrari, Alphanesis, Luciano, Toneless Death, and Raptors in the top 10. He said he has the pace. He has a good chance to show it now. Brake Tester 2 behind him in the Haas. KP21, then Deer Hunter. Both Ferraris have run once, and ahead of DXC Shigo. Then Ardell. And the penalties, 3 seconds to Ardell and to Boss Cookie.
If anything, the one team that really needed a safety car was Ferrari. DXT with the jump start and Ron with a pretty sloppy first lap. Don't know if that was his fault or not, but this gives them a chance to fight back in this race. Gives everyone a chance.
Yes, it does. Speaking of, let's go look at the positions gained and lost the first couple of laps or so. Completed now lap 7 as we cross the line in a few seconds' time. Cookie jumps from 3rd to 1st. Mumu up from 5th to 2nd. I'm sorry, from 4th to 2nd. Halocren from 5th to 3rd. Minico down 2. Meanfern goes up a spot. Ferrari Nut up 6 positions. Alphanesis up 4. Well, you can see the rest. Raptor up 5. Down 12 for Dinner Hunter. Well, then again, he also did pit.
Yeah, he did pit. We'll see if those 6 laps, fresher tires, wet tires, will pay off. I would like to know if Mumu is like sitting there going, "Oh, this kind of stinks." Had kind of this race where he wanted, had a very nice lead over the car behind, and now 6 seconds just evaporated.
That, and also Cookie, the same kind of situation with him, because he had a buffer. Now he has that time penalty and no buffer.
Yep.
Well, now, it's kind of regroups everyone. You think they'll go for it again? As chaotic as it like it was in turn 1? Lap 1?
I don't think so, because it will be single file, so one would think it won't be as ambitious as it was on the start, but we'll see. We'll see if we'll go in this lap. We still got 2 cars trying to catch up. I don't think we will.
I believe we'll be going in next time by.
We'll just have to wait and see, because we have seen some very late calls.
Very true.
Japan was one.
It was. It darted into the last possible second.
And yeah, we're going to do one more lap.
Mercedes safety car leads us through once more for another lap. So we'll restart, I believe, on the end of lap 9, start of lap 10, barring any, well, changes between now and then. Looking at the rain, it looks like it's kind of the same from the start.
Yeah, it's not changed much. We've seen some slight chaos. We've seen some guys have had some car control problems, but we've not seen anyone outside of Valkyrie. Really, we've not seen a lot of carnage.
That could change.
Yeah, I probably jinxed it.
7-car pile up at a turn 1 now. Think boy.
Yeah, well. Just send me the bill for the body shop. Wait, I don't have that much money. Do not do that. I'm bored of Luciano.
Imagine if that was the case, by the way. If the driver deemed at fault, there's no more time penalties in racing, especially at F1. They just send you the bill for how much the team would need to repair that.
Do you
kind of that would cause a lot of incidents to be looked at a little differently.
How many teams would then Nikita Mazepin have to pay last year? Well, actually, not many.
At least one.
Well, I know. Well, did he? Okay, I know he made a lot of contact, but a lot of that was self-inflicted contact.
Yeah, I think the only one they could possibly. I mean, no. To be fair, Nikita didn't cause what happened with Latifi and Imola.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even go that far. Well, we'll go from the IRL talk back to the race once more. Safety car is in this lap. So Cookie will now have full discretion of when he wants to go. He has full control of the field. Behind him, Mumu and the AlphaTauri. Taylor Clan on the podium so far. Minico, Meanfern round out the top 5. When will Cookie go? That's crucial.
I just noticed Mumu does have front wing damage. And he pits.
He goes now, and he may have hit Cookie during the safety car.
Well, this helps Taylor.
Yes, it does. Dramatically. The Red Bull's a little bit too far back this time. They were looking. They couldn't get it.
Yep. I would say, though, if Mumu did make contact with Cookie under a safety car, he's lucky that he did not get a penalty.
Very true. Or he may have hit the wall under the safety car as well. We'll have to find out whenever, well, we get a little bit of information on that. But Cookie leads Taylor, Minico, Meanfern, the top 4, with now Ferrari not in 5th in the Alpine, without Phineas is 6th, and Minico goes around again! He's going to lose every bit of time he had. Now out of the points goes the Red Bull.
Yeah, he's stuck behind P13. He's lucky he didn't get a penalty for his little adventure in the grass. He'll have a lot of work to do now.
Yes, he will. He has to get past BRL Ardell and the Haas, then past DXD Ishiko and KP21, who, by the way, is not in the session, the Williams. Hopefully we can get back in. Oh, look at this, down the inside of Ardell. That was a bold lunge from the Red Bull. And he'll get ahead of Ardell. Great move from him.
Yep, Ardell, I'm sorry, Minico, he's gotten through Ardell. He's P11th. 1.6 behind P10 for points, which will be very crucial for him.
Speaking of points, the 2 Ferraris are going to duel at it. The 2 teammates, DXD, Ishigo, and Ron Swanson. Ishigo aggressively cuts Ron Swanson, and now it's actually giving him a little bit of incentive down into turn 1. Nothing doing there.
Meanwhile, up front, it's Cookie leading a second over 1.2 over Taylor Clan. Then you got the Meanfern, the Red Bull of Meanfern, about 2 seconds back. Then you got Ferrari and Alphanese. They've been slowly making their way through this field. It's right outside the top 10.
They've been doing a good job with that as well. Well, now, look at the gap, by the way, between Taylor Clan and Meanfern. 2.1 seconds between the Red Bull and the McLaren. 1.4 between Taylor Clan and Cookie. He's getting a little bit of a gap already, Taylor Clan.
Yeah, so Dale picks up, I believe that's 6 seconds of penalties for him now. Yes, it is.
Minico gets past Ron Swanson into turn 12. The Ferrari not fighting it too hard against the Red Bull. Now he has DXD Ishiko for company ahead of him. Cookies has the fastest lap. We're on lap 12 and 36. About a third of the way done. Traffic was a bit wide, actually. DXD will get the move done really early on the straight. Well, that probably bring an incentive for Minico. He's on the button. He's going to be on the slipstream. He's not going to have DRS because of the conditions. He'll go to the right-hand side and get clearly through. Will he try to get both in one straightaway? He'll have a chance to do it. Minico will do it. Down in the turn 1 he goes. DXD's not going to let him go. But the Red Bull and Minico will still have it anyway. 2 and 1 straightaway.
He's trying to make amends over his second spin of the race. It's been unfortunate with his 2 spins, but at least it hasn't really affected his car, not giving him damage. He just needs to keep it on the road and focus forward.
Well, yes, about 2.4 seconds or so up to the Mercedes of Deer Hunter. So that'll be his first real challenge, going back through the field once again.
Just the problem of this rain with no DRS, it just makes it all so much harder.
That's a big talking point. So since there's no DRS, the 3 DRS straights are, well, pointless.
Indeed they are. Kind of goes back to it. Just
Oh! Ferrari almost lost the car. Alphanese really looked for the movement at 15. He just couldn't get it. Ferrari almost lost the car, and that would have been bad for him and the Alpine team.
Yep. Alpine One side of the garage is in P4, the other side of the garage is, well, packing up. If Mumu can get back to where he was in the points, it'd be a good points day for AlphaTauri. Kind of hold serve or perhaps extend their gap in P4.
We'll see, because these two, remember, they are fighting for that spot for 4th position in the Constructors' Championship. Alpine are kind of a long shot, a little bit far back from AlphaTauri, but they're still in contention, like everyone else. Well, there's plenty of time to do so. 6 rounds left to go. It all has to start now. And Alphanesis is on a charge, trying to get past Ferrari Nut in the Alpine. He just cannot find a way through right now, pressurizing him at every chance.
Well, they see Meanfern right in front as Taylor now gets a 3-second penalty.
Cookie has a sigh of relief now.
For now. Be important for Boss Cookie to not get another one. But these two, they see the Red Bull of Meanfern sitting up there in P3, and I'm sure both of them think, hey, if we can get a podium here.
They do. And, well, if they're not careful, they may have a little bit of company behind them. The Alpine and the AlphaTauri, as Toneless closing in. Well, Deer Hunter's not too far behind him, and Minico has closed the gap exponentially.
Yeah, Minico is coming. Those 6 laps, fresher tires that Deer Hunter and DXD and Ron and Ardell have, not really paying dividends right now. We'll see if it pays off in a little bit, but so far, it's not really paid off to pit. Unless they had damage, then that would make sense.
I don't think there was a wing change, but Minico is there anyway. Look at the gap he's pulled on that Mercedes. He's now within a second.
Well, sometimes you just drive a little bit faster when you're just, well, pissed off.
Who says you have to be calm while driving?
No.
Drive with emotion.
Yeah. We both can relate.
Minico is showcasing exactly why that works out pretty well. About 6 tenths behind Deer Hunter in the Mercedes now. And now he has a 3-second time penalty to his name.
That jinx is on you, not me now.
I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
See, it's that simple.
Just blame someone else, blame me? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I didn't blame you. I'm going to blame the rain.
Oh, that's, yeah, Mother Nature's not here to defend herself.
See? Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Ferrari not too far behind Meanfern, now 1.1 seconds. Alphanesis has dropped back a tad bit from Ferrari Nut, but he's closed in by Toneless by about a tenth or so. But Minico is closing in rapidly. How quickly trying to make this move? He's now within under 20% of his ERS. He's trying to use it all. He's trying to get past Deer Hunter and the Mercedes.
I say, yeah, Alphanesis, he's kind of watching his battery very well compared to his rivals around him. He's got 70 compared to most of around him in the 50s or in the 30s.
So difficult to harvest ERS here. And now they're going to play the repercussions game of obviously having to use that button, in which it gains them some speed down the straightaway, about 100 brake horsepower or so. I believe. I could be mistaken. Yellow flag.
Ferrari Nut has retired.
That is huge. He's crashed into turn 7, and a safety car is deployed again.
We also have Luciano stopped. He's got it back going again. So this will be a double retirement for Alpine. No points.
Well, I was talking about earlier with Deer Hunter trying to break the statistic of 45% won from pole. Looks like another statistic's being broken. The pace of the Alpine once more, it just doesn't carry over from the previous Ret Grand Prix.
So Taylor Clan stays out. Meanwhile, Deer Hunter stays out. That makes sense. He pitted into the last safety car. Everyone else is pitting. So interesting decision being done at McLaren.
They're splitting it. So Toneless Death is in. Taylor Clan is not. But now it's a Mercedes 2-3. Deer Hunter ahead of Boss Cookie. but it's not going to be an easy task to get past Taylor Clan. Well, the Mercedes power unit is still in the back of that McLaren. Could definitely still play a factor. Ardell up into 4th, and the Haas, he stays out as well. Meanford in 5th. Alpha Nisus runs 6th with Toneless Death, Minico, DXC Ishigo. Then you have Supply Raptor coming out in 10th ahead of Ron Swanson. Mumu in 12th. Brake Tester 2. KP21 and Luciano actually gets past both of those pair up into 13th.
Yeah, Luciano, while Ferrari Nut had his retirement, and it wasn't related, Luciano was stopped on the track and turns, I believe, 3 and 4. So I don't know what that was about.
Well, once again, this groups everyone back together.
Let me ask you a question. With Taylor not pitting here, do you think he's trying to go all the way with these tires? Because one would assume it's the halfway point of the race, give or take. Everyone else pitted, except the ones that pitted under the first safety car, just pitted right now.
Well, theoretically, I think he could. The tire drop-off is not as significant here. Remember the chats of the one stop versus the 2 stop earlier on. But now with this being full wet, you do not have to pit. It's not mandatory. So if you can take your tires to the end of the Grand Prix, Taylor's trying to do so. Because if you remember back to Deer Hunter, whenever he pitted, he didn't kind of blow through the field as quickly as he maybe would have hoped on those fresh wets. So track position over grip, I think, is his strategy right now.
Our question is, where he was running P2.
2.
I could understand if he was 12th. Why not roll the dice? We'll just have to wait and see if this works out.
Still a long way to go. We may restart, I believe, not this lap, but next time we go through.
Well, he's had the benefit.
We should have everyone there.
He's had the benefit of 5 of these laps under the safety car, if I'm not mistaken.
Very true.
So that helps the wear. My question is this worth the gamble when literally, if he did pit, I don't think the Mercedes stay out. I think everyone pits. So
I don't know. We'll see how the strategy plays out for Taylor Clant, as right now he leads provisionally. He has that time penalty. Let's go through them real quick. A 3 second to Taylor Clant. Boss Cookie, 6 seconds to Ardell, 3 to Minico, and 3 to Ron Swanson. Everyone else has no time penalties to their name, but warnings, well, maybe not so lucky.
let's take a look at the warnings. Let's see, who do we need to look at warnings here? One thing about this page I don't like is it doesn't tell you he already has a penalty. Wait. Well, the thing I'm confused here is, okay. Let's just say someone's lucky to not have a penalty right now.
And who might that be?
Here, I showed 3 warnings.
It's one from contact.
Ah. So he's on 2.
There you go.
It's that NBC little thing commercial. The more you know. Well, this will be the end of. This will mark the halfway point once we complete this lap.
Yes, it will, and I believe we will be in this time as well.
Yep.
18 down. 18 more to go. Kind of a, if you think about it, it's like a competition caution for these drivers.
Yeah, it is, but.
Stage break.
Oh yeah, okay. Then if that's the case, Belgium had one really, really long stage break.
There was no, that was the race. The stage break was when they got out of the cars.
Yeah. I did more miles going from Daytona Beach to Orlando than they did in the entire race.
Well, we'll see how many miles these guys have left in them. About 18 laps to go. We'll restart on lap 19 of 36.
Oh,
it's Taylor Plan's discretion. And never mind.
He backed into the barrier.
He may have front wing damage as well, and rear wing damage possibly. Depends on how hard his wing hit that tire barrier. Hit the barrier on the inside. A 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. That's the second one we've seen tonight for brake tester this time. Minico and Tone Lesteth are battling for 6 they go, and the Red Bull ahead of the McLaren.
So both Haas drivers have had that yellow flag penalty.
You can see looking for the move on Tone Lesteth. The Ferrari versus McLaren battle will go again, this time into turn 5. DXD with the better traction goes around the outside. What a move. Up into 7th he goes.
Meanwhile, up front, Mercedes has a 1-2. We have Red Bulls P4 and P5, but Minico has a 3-second penalty. That could hamper him later on.
You got past Alphanesis. The AlphaTauri did not fight hard, if fight at all, against the Red Bull there. Meanfern's going to be closing in on Ardell now. Will the Haas go defensive? He does go defensive and kind of moved a bit. Will he keep him behind him now? He does so far into the stadium section. Fern will go for the move down to the turn 13.
That's brave.
Contact made between the two. This is going to hold everyone up. More contact. Ardell down the inside of 15, into 16, into 17. They go now. Ardell side by side once more.
Does Minico make this 3 wide? Does Alphanese make this 3 wide?
Well, right now Minico's boxed in. Alphanesis may make it 3 wide. He won't. He'll go to the left-hand side. Minico slots behind his teammate. Alphanesis will get past Ardell and the Haas. It's now going to be battling the 2 Bulls. Down to the turn 1 they go. Minico and Meanfern. He's up to 3rd. Meanfern to 4th. Alphanesis to 5th. Ardell's falling backwards now. Has contact with Dixie Ishigo into turn 2. Oh no! Around goes the Ferrari in the exit of turn 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ardell is he's in a spot I would not want my driver to be in. He's just in a hornet's nest right now.
Raptor went around the outside of 5 and going around the outside of 6. Tone Lesteth and his teammate Taylor Clan are going at it in 6. Well, now it's going to be swapping around. Ardell gets out of the way of one McLaren, not the other. Taylor Clan gets past. Tone Lesteth still behind.
Hey, well, all this chaos has been going on. One driver that's made a nice recovery has been Mumu. Was sitting P2 for a little bit, actually P3 before the first safety car came out. Had to pit for front wing damage, and he has moved all the way back up to P6.
Good for him.
Yep.
Started up, I believe, down in P12 before the safety car restart. He's gone up 6 positions. Cookie sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but ahead of him, Taylor Clan and Supply Raptor are looking at it. Taylor Clan, remember, was leading the safety car after what happened, then spun on the safety car restart. Well, now he's going to have to recover once more. He's in 8th right now. Luciano Pitts from down in 12th. Comes Taylor on the Williams of Supply Raptor.
Yep, front wing change
And
for Luciano.
through. I believe that's the second over the race for the Aston Martin.
Now, I know we're working lap 21 of 36, but if you remember, the last time we had a Mercedes 1-2 was at Coda, and they had a swap at the end of the race. Will we see that again?
Possibly, possibly not. Deer Hunter is tied on points at the moment with unsighted port for second in the championship. Well, he may have possible stewards inquiries going his way. Possibly not. We don't know yet. Well, Boss Cookie at the moment has a 3-second time penalty to his name.
Yeah.
So if they do swap, Cookie's going to try to keep Minico behind as far as possible.
Yeah, actually, they could actually just, as long as Deer doesn't get another warning, they can just hold positions and still get what they want. If anything, they need to build a gap to Minico, mainly Cookie of 3 seconds, so that way he can retain at least second place.
Well, right now the gap between first and second is 2.1 seconds. Minico is reeling in the gap between second and third. It's now down to 1.2 seconds. The gap right now Once again, closing in. Luciano, 3-second time penalty applied to end of his race time for multiple warnings and track extensions. Ron Swanson gets past Ardell because Ardell comes in the pits.
Yep. Ardell stayed out on 14-lap wets. Probably at the end of the day should have pitted. I don't think he really gained much from doing all that.
Speaking of gaining much, is Alphanesis closing into Meanfern. Meanfern lost a little bit to his teammate ahead of him. Minico is, by the way, within a second briefly. Now he's right outside of that 1 second gap. But Alphanesis still pressurizing the Red Bull. Meanfern. Do we see a possible swap or possible battle between these two? We'll have to find out because Alphanesis is looking quick.
Alphanesis is looking quick. The question is, will Meanfern try to keep him at bay and more, maybe importantly for the championship, Minico's championship, stay out of 3 seconds to Minico?
Possibly. He, by the way, is now within 0.5 of a second of Deer Hunter in front of him. He could possibly look for the move in any coming moment. He doesn't do it through 13. He's not going to have the chance in 14 and 15 and a 16.
Well, we saw earlier how aggressive he was going through the... Oh, it's Minico again. The back end just almost steps out.
That Red Bull is not planted at all.
No.
It's not his friend right now.
Like he's got banana peels back there.
Well, to be fair, the track condition is not much help for him also.
No.
Down in the turn one, almost, wow, really late on the brakes for the Red Bull. Try to look for the move on Deer Hunter. Wasn't close enough. And by the way, Deer Hunter's almost almost outside of that 3 second window from Boss Cookie ahead of him. Mumu takes a 3 second time penalty. That's not crucial for his race. That's not good at all.
Yep, and behind Mumu is Taylor Clan. Just made a nice recovery after his spin. I guess he didn't get much damage after all from backing into the barriers.
He may have not gotten any damage on the ruining of that McLaren as he moves up once again, now trying to close after his teammate. But this battle still persists. Minico to Deer Hunter trying to find a way around the Red Bull. Can he get through on the Mercedes? Right now is a good chance.
Oh, he thought about it.
At 13, will he try to make a late lunge? He does not. Here goes defensive. And Minico is going to set the switch back up into 14, into 15. He goes now. Lost a little bit of time to the Mercedes ahead of him, but this is going to be the traction zone. Does Deer or Minico get the advantage down the main straightaway? Minico just kind of drifting the car, for lack of a better word, through 17. Well, now he has the button. He has the slipstream. He has the energy, not the DRS. We'll see who gets it down into turn one this time. Deer Hunter, Minico. He's off the button. He goes to the left-hand side. Deer Hunter's going to go defensive, squeezing him to the right side. The left side of the track. They're going to be wheel to wheel. Deer Hunter and Minico. Contact made. Off the track goes Minico. Deer stays ahead. Still side by side. Contact off the track goes Minico. Now Deer's going to stay in front. Well, how long will he stay in front? Minico's back on the button. Back in the slipstream he goes. Down in the turn three. Will he make a move? He looks to the right-hand side. Really late on the brakes.
Wow.
Off the track he goes. He barely stays it on. Minico, oh no! A little bit of contact between the two. Minico stays behind. Deer Hunter, crucially for his teammate, stays in front. Look at the gap now, 5.1 seconds.
And there's send it, and then there's full send, then there's that. And that was just a bold send by Minico. Just couldn't, almost made it stick.
On the curb, too, in the wet.
Yeah, usually that doesn't end well.
For him, it worked pretty well, I would say. He's really late on the brakes through into the heavy braking zones on Deer Hunter. That could be something he could look after.
Yeah, right now, Deer has a little bit more battery to play with over Minico, not by much.
Right now, Deer is just trying to play, well, I guess rear gunner for his teammate Boss Cookie in front of him and trying to stay and keep Minico behind, because if he knows if Minico gets past, it may not, well, finish in his favor. To the right-hand side, Deer goes defensive. Left-hand side goes Minico. Almost hit again, side by side in the turn one. They do make a little bit of contact this time in a one. Still wheel to wheel, still side by side. Minico goes to the right-hand side again. The left hand. Off the track, they go once more. Deer Hunter, a little bit of more contact through three. Minico gets the better exit this time, though. And look at that. Deer Hunter's going to use a little bit of his ERS. Side by side once more into 3. It's going to be the opposite of what happened last time. This time, Minico on the inside. Deer on the outside. Wheel to wheel into 5. Deer Hunter stays ahead of Minico once again. Fern stays ahead of Alphanesis. And Minico looks for the move on Deer Hunter.
Minico's just got to be asking himself, what do I have to do to get this pass done?
Well, theoretically, he needs to get all the way through and hopefully out of the way of a heavy braking zone. But Minico gets a better exit through the S's down in the turn 12. Will he try to send it this time? He's late on the brakes here. He will try to send it. They'll go side to side. They contact a little bit again. Off the track goes Deer Hunter this time. Down to the 13. Who makes it there first? Deer Hunter has the apex. Around the outside goes Minico. There's going to be wheel to wheel. And Minico's going to have to stay behind again.
I haven't seen defending like this. Ooh, here we have off in sector 3.
DXD, she goes out of the race.
That's
and
a
that is
DSC.
a virtual safety car.
This is very reminiscent of Monaco 1992, honestly, with Deere just putting that Mercedes exactly where it needs to be to hold off Minico.
Well, right now, he has about 9 or so laps. Well, actually, theoretically 11. Ron Swanson pits from 11th, ironically. He has 11 or so laps to do, about 10 and a half or so, to get past Deer Hunter and to get 3 seconds ahead of the Mercedes. And right now, it's looking pretty difficult to do so right now. 7.3 seconds, the gap between Cookie and Deer Hunter. Deer has been doing an incredible job as a rear gunner for Boss Cookie.
Yeah, that's the good news. The bad news is he has kind of brought in the likes of Mean Fern, Alphanese, and Moo Moo. They have slowly caught up into this battle. So if you're Minico, you need to get this move done as soon as you can, because the more he just sits there, he's going to have pressure from behind.
His teammate, and obviously that's going to make him a little bit, I guess, not as worried, because Fern knows exactly what happens in the championship. He's the championship leader, Minico, and Fern is reserving for I Am Tweaking. So, theoretically, you would think this would be kind of a no-brainer not to overtake the man, not to fight him too much. But if he is in that situation, what else is he supposed to do? He has guys behind him like Alphanesis and Moo Moo. They're not going to just sit there.
No. Because now we have a safety car coming out.
That's not what Cookie needed at all.
No. So
look at the gap between them two. 11 seconds. Look at the entire straightaway Cookie's ahead of Deer Hunter.
So I missed that message. I just looked up and saw safety car. We did have a VSC at first.
Well, I believe they thought too much debris on the track, and they put it from a virtual safety car to a full safety car. And now everyone will bunch up once again. This may put it, or will have maybe, around a 7-lap dash to the end.
We'll see if anyone pits. If I'm willing to bet, we'll see if Bailey pits in P10 to get rid of the 5 seconds. No one else has pitted. And survey says no.
I would think theoretically, if you are in the top 10 and you are going to pit, which I don't necessarily recommend, because right now you've seen track position, as you've seen with Deer Hunter and Minico, is key. Well, if you are going to pit, I would do it if you have a 3-second time penalty. That's the only chance you get, because the safety car is going to bunch everyone back up again. You would think, okay, well, if you stay out, it's not going to go in your favor.
But the thing is, he can get that 5-second removed to have 0 penalties.
Bailey, yes, but everyone else with a time penalty.
Oh, I agree.
They cannot.
That's why I was wondering if he was going to pit or not. Because he's the only one that can get that removed. Everyone else, you've kind of made your bed.
Well, let's see. Is anyone in the top 3? Do they come in? No, no, and no.
I think these guys, if they were going to pit, would have already pitted by now. Well, I'll take that back. We have one that's pitting. Taylor.
In the McLaren.
Well, he hasn't pitted all race yet, though, so.
For now, that'll put him in 10th position behind brake tester. So now that would put him, theoretically, he has a time penalty, so he would right now be exactly where he is.
That's unless if Ron gets him. I don't think Ron will get him. No.
The main battle that we're going to watch out for is the top three once again. Cookie has shown he has some pace, and Deer Hunter has right now shown he can defend for his life. But Minico is charging. He's made a charge ever since the two mistakes he's had, the spin on the exit of turn 16, the spin on the exit right here. He's had a couple of mistakes, but he's rebounded and honestly, arguably looks like the fastest car on track. If he gets past Deer Hunter, who knows what happens to Cookie, but he has to get past Deer Hunter first, and that's been a challenge.
The first thing he needs to do is get past Deer Hunter, and we have seen how hard that has been for Minico.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, Minico runs almost off the track.
Another crucial thing to talk about. Warnings, penalties, especially in the top three. Cookie has a 3, Minico has a 3, but Alphanesis, Meanfern, and Deer Hunter do not, but Deer Hunter is on the critical edge of receiving one.
I believe Alphanese also has 2 warnings. One can always check. No, actually he has 1 warning.
Right now, as it stands, if it were to finish right here, Alphanesis would be on the podium along with Deer Hunter and Meanfern.
Yep, like Deer, Meanfern's on with 2 warnings, and Alphanese has 1 warning, so we'll see how this plays out.
Everyone except for KP21, Supply Raptor, Tone the Sith, Alphanesis, Meanfern, and Deer Hunter. Obviously, like we were saying, has no time penalties applied at the end of their race time. Let's go look at the penalties themselves. 5 to Big Tester. He can obviously get that removed. 3 to both Taylor Clan, Ron Swanson, Moo, Minico, and Cookie. 6 to Luciano and BRL Ardell. But penalties are going to be kind of taking the back seat as of late. We're going to go in, I believe, this time. So meaning we're going to restart on lap 30 of 36. 7 laps to go. It's going to be a 7-lap dash to the end. Who has it? The rain still looks pretty atrocious. Hasn't let off. It's time.
Well, the one driver that might be sitting maybe in the catbird seat, you know, Deer and Meanfern are on 2 warnings. Alphanese, we'll see what happens in these next 6 laps here, or 7 laps. And we'll see how much Boss Cookie can build a gap. He certainly have had the pace this weekend, this race.
He has, indeed. Now can he crucialize and, I guess, specifically capitalize off of that. Safety car is in this lap. 7 laps to go. 2 Mercedes lead 2 Red Bulls, lead 2 Alpha Tauris, lead a McLaren, a Williams, a Haas, and the other McLaren. Cookie's discretion. His decision. When will he go? We've seen it could be costly if you don't time it right. Taylor Clan spun in the exit right here when he was leading the safety car queue. Well, Cookie goes. And now we're green again.
Mini goes right on the back of Deer. Now he tries to take a look. Side by side. Minico is there. Oh, here we go. And Meanfern just kind of waiting back there. I think Minico's going to get the position done.
He's not done yet.
Oh, contact.
Oh! Minico forces his way through. Deer is not done yet, though. Will he try to go at him in turn 4? He may be a little bit too far back.
Now he's under threat.
He is too far back. But look at Meanfern to the right-hand side. He goes. The Red Bull now crucially attacking the Mercedes of Deer Hunter. Now that gets him up in the podium. And here comes Alphanesis.
Deer Hunter's getting swarmed right now.
Well, that's not what Mercedes and Deer Hunter needed. Now it's Boss Cookie from Minico from Meanfern. From Deer Hunter, Alphanesis, yellow flag. Around goes Brake Tester. And the Haas. And the S's.
Looks like no damage. One thing that could be hurt Deer Hunter's pace could be the fact that he's on 22-lap mediums to his rivals being on 13-lap. Oh, I'm sorry, wets mediums. Whoops.
You know, happens sometimes.
Yeah.
WM, same thing.
They could
Wow.
be. They could
Once
be
again-
worn out to where they could be mediums.
That very true. Alphanese is closing in on Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter, like you said, going backwards. He may lose another spot. Alphanese is looking to the left-hand side. He'll go around the outside. Deer Hunter is going to keep it in and stay so far in fourth. But right now, crucially, Alphanese is not done yet. He's going to charge after him. His teammate behind him, though, Mumu, also wanting to go.
Yep. Boss is trying to build that gap as fast as he can. I know Manico has a 3-second as well, but Meanfern doesn't have a penalty, and he sits only 1 second out of the lead.
Oh, the two Alpha Tauris touch the exit of turn 6. Nothing happens of it.
The back
Now,
end of the
time is closing down.
time
Go
indeed.
time.
Hey, looking at the back end of the top 10, Supply P9, Ron P10. Oh!
Oh no! Minico now has a 6-second time penalty. That applies to the other one he had already. So that puts Meanfern on the podium, and it puts Deer Hunter on the podium.
And more crucially, it gives Boss Cookie a big sigh of relief. But that gap got smaller, if I'm not mistaken. It's down to 1.6.
That's the gap to leader, 1.6 seconds. Meanfern 4.3. He's out of that 3-second gap. And here comes Alphanesis on Deer Hunter. If he loses this spot, he theoretically loses the podium. Alphanesis battling with Deer Hunter down in the turn number 1.
Oh!
Deer Hunter stays ahead because Alphanesis spun round. Both Alpha Tauris collide. Mumu in the back of Alphanesis, and that was originated with contact with Deer Hunter.
We'll see what the discussion will be with that after the race. Meanwhile, McLaren says, thank you, we'll take those 2 spots. Okay, well, not yet. Mumu's now fighting back with Thomas.
That Mumu went basically straight off the track.
Doesn't look like Mumu got a lot of damage out of that from the front wing. Then again, it doesn't take
Maybe
much.
okay. Luciano got past Supply. Raptor battle for 8th. Aston Martin moves up a position. Ron Swanson is in the points now, but Alphanesis, how much damage does he have, if any at all? He's going to pressurize Ron Swanson. Ardell, 3-second time penalty. The gap to leader now, 1.3 seconds. Minico to Boss Cookie. If Cookie stays on the track for the next 5 laps and doesn't receive a warning, he could grab the victory here in Mexico City.
Working lap 33, Manico, he is slowly reeling Boss Cookie in. Boss is sitting on plenty of battery. Manico's using every battery, every percentage he can get right now.
Crucially right now, with Minico's 6-second time penalty, Meanfern is barely in. Deer Hunter is barely in, but that would put Minico down to 4th as it stands, and if it were to end right now. Well, now Deer Hunter's outside of it.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close to see if Manico can put together a 6-second gap.
Be crucial indeed. Alphanesis pass Supply Raptor. He's now on the points once more for the Alpha Tauri.
And the one thing that Manico, he might have to pass Boss Cookie here in order to get the 6-second gap, because Meanfern can't really open a gap because he's got Deer right behind him. And he's got Taylor Clan closing in as well.
We're going to have about 3 laps to go. Coming to the strike this time, Ardell 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings, and track extensions. That'll be applied to the end of his race time. I believe his total is now at 9.
Now down to 5.5, so, or 5.3, so maybe Manico can do that.
Let's see. 8/10 to gap between Boss Cookie and Minico. 3 laps to go.
Do you think Boss
Do
Cookie...
they play any games?
Do you think Boss Cookie might try to back up Manico into his teammate, or more importantly, to his teammate Deer?
Well, he may. But the strategy is, if he can't, He's got to make sure Minico doesn't get 3 seconds ahead of him.
That's true. It's a double-edged sword.
So right now, Minico looks a lot faster than Mercedes at Boss Cookie, but how much time does he have to extend a gap if he can grab one?
Meanwhile, through all this, Supply Raptor drops to P11, but with Ron having a penalty, he will be right now on P10. Missed that.
Time is closing down. Can Minico get there? He's almost out of the penalty window from his teammate.
Now he is.
Now he's out of it. So now, does Boss Cookie hold up Minico? He does a bit. Parks on the apex, going to back him up into his teammate a bit. Can he try to hold on?
One thing that Boss Cookie has, he has a full battery to use, while Minico has only 40%.
Well, they're both going to use it down the straightaway.
And
2 laps to go.
Mean Fern just gained a half a second by all that.
And Cookie knows it. If he can try to give, yellow flag.
Ardell has
as I believe the
retired.
Haas. Taylor Clan has passed Deer Hunter. That's crucial. Because now he has to get past another car on his quest for a podium, possibly.
Well, he'll have to get past Mean Fern and then open, what, a 3-second gap? That's a lot of work to do in a lap and a half. He could do it.
True. Minico locks up, went straight on. He lost a bit of time.
I believe Boss Cookie is holding him up.
He definitely is. Look at the gap between him and Mean Fern, 5.0. Cookie almost, and in the back of him goes Minico. Oh, almost lost the car this time, Minico. He's trying everything he can to get past Boss Cookie, and Cookie's trying to do the opposite to hold him up and back him up to his teammate. The gap's now 4.9.
Minico is going to be very tired of seeing the back end of a Mercedes in Formula 1 and also in real life.
Cookie holds him up again. We're now going to be on the final lap. Taylor Clan past Mean Fern.
Oh, Minico he kept it together.
Won the last lap of the Mexico City Grand Prix one more time around. One warning, one track extent, one penalty ends it for Cookie. If it ends how it is, Minico may not finish in second.
And you got Taylor and Mean Fern battling there for the final podium spot.
Them battling may save Minico here. Mean Fern down, he's out. Mean Fern is spun around, and he's going to be out of chance for a podium. This has saved Minico exponentially.
It has indeed. Taylor has a 3. This will put Deer Hunter in the podium.
Look at the gap once again. Cookie's
Well,
slowing
actually, no.
up.
Well, we'll see.
He may.
I
Under pressure from Toneless Death.
don't see how Boss Cookie's going to... Well, I say that. The gap is shrinking.
Gap's 4.7. He could actually get there if he finds about a second. But this man, Boss Cookie, a week ago, he had to slow down 17 seconds or so.
He's blocking him.
He is trying to get past. We had to let by his teammate. Now he gets to keep the victory. He wins in Mexico City and wins the Mexico City Grand Prix. Taylor Clan was a second off. He'll grab a podium in third. Deer Hunter will grab fourth. It was oh so close and didn't get the podium crucially. So Cookie ahead of Minico, Taylor Clan, Deer Hunter, Toneless Death, Alpha Nisus ahead of Mumu. What could have been for the Alpha Tauris? Luciano, Mean Fern could have had a podium, and he'll finish ninth. This has been a crazy Mexico City Grand Prix, and it's just going to start the weekend off with a bang.
Indeed, it is. As KP21 gets driver of the day. Taylor Clan goes from spinning on the second safety car restart to getting P3 in the podium in what was a tremendous battle between him, Mean Fern, and Deer. And then Nico P2. And yeah, Boss Cookie with the win. Bear us for 1 second, then we'll get the invites and we'll do the podium interviews.
Well, for 2 of the 3 drivers, we may see happy faces and smiles. For one, maybe not so much. Boss Cookie wins the Mexico City Grand Prix ahead of Minico in the Red Bull. Taylor Clan rounds out the podium in 3rd. Deer Hunter in 4th. What could have been? Could he got a podium? He may get a penalty coming his way. You never know. Stewards' inquiries could be one heck of a thing. Toneless 7th and 5th. Alphanesis in 6th. Mumu 7th. Both AlphaTauri 6th and 7th. Good recovery from Alphanesis from 11th on the grid. Luciano in 8th. Mean Fern. What could have been? He could have had a podium. He finishes 9th. Sublime Raptor finishes in 10th and 1 point. Going the way of Williams. That's 1 point closer to Haas. Ron Swanson 11th. What could have been? Once again, he could have had points. He finishes outside once more. Brake Tester finishes 12th in his tribute for Feta Cheese. Well, he finishes outside the points once more. Couldn't grab that illustrious point. KB21 in the 13th. Ardell in 14th. Dixie Ishigo, Ferrari Nut, Valkyrie, and Crispy all have retired from the Mexico City Grand Prix.
All right. I think we have everyone here, don't we? Oh, indeed we do. So Taylor, Manico, and Boss Cookie include your audios, and whenever you're ready, Catcher, I'll conduct them. Well, P2 and P3.
All right, let me grab the show room up. We'll get right underway.
All right. Well, Taylor, you had quite the up and down race. You started P1 on the second safety car restart, and then, well, next thing we see is you're back in spinning. Then you were last, and then you're here P3. Talk about the spin, and then talk about your drive all the way forward.
Well, this game I should say this track with safety cars is utterly useless. The game gives you absolutely no indication that you are now allowed to go full throttle. We were coming to that final corner. I was half throttle trying to accelerate, and it was limiting my throttle. So, yep, and then I don't even get a chance to even react to it because I hit it. I'm halfway to try and get going. Doesn't go, and then automatically just turns back on. So that's pretty pointless. So from there, just drove back up. That final safety car pitted, got some fresh sweats, and yeah, it's just I don't even know what happened in the last 5 laps. Yeah, I can't tell you.
Well, I do have one question. With you not pitting at the safety car, the second one, it was halfway. Was your aim to possibly make it the whole way on tires, or just that one set?
Tires can easily go to the end. There's no doubt about it.
I was thinking that was your strategy.
Yeah, I was getting about 2% a lap, so by the end of the race, it would have been about 72%. So close to puncture, not quite there. So yeah, what's the plan going in?
Okay, well, it's unfortunate of what happened. It would have been interesting if you could have see what you could have done if you could have held him off. We'll switch to Manico. You had 2 spins in the opening handful of laps, and then he got back together and he ran forward. Unfortunately, though, you got the win, but unfortunately, with your 6 seconds, you got P2. Talk about your battles with Deer and then your battle with Boss Cookie.
Well, I mean, the battle was Deer. I was just being aggressive as I could because I knew he's the closest in the championship, on track at least, since him and Port were tied. He's kind of my main objective the entire race, and luckily, due to Mean Fern backing the pack up, I managed to get that gap. So I gained some points, which is good. I would have been happy to get the win, but unfortunately, like you said, penalties didn't exactly help. But I mean, I still got what I wanted, still got at a podium, and yeah, not too disappointed about that.
Was it frustrating at the end when it looked like Boss Cookie was trying to back you up so that way you would not be on the podium, potentially?
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating, but, at the end of the day, it didn't exactly work out for him, and yeah, still top 2. I don't really have much to say, really.
Well, you don't lose that much ground to, actually, you do gain ground to both your rivals in the championship, with inside of Port not being here, and you do finishing ahead of Deer. What's your thoughts on the championship going forward?
I think as long as I just keep the consistency up and finish ahead of who I need to be ahead of, I can probably build a gap and hopefully clinch it. But you never know. Something can happen, and I could end up DNFing or being outside the top 5. It's unknown, really. I mean, this championship has been crazy, but nonetheless, I'm just going to do exactly what I've been doing the entire time, just pushing as much as I can, and we'll see.
All right, well, I want to thank Taylor and Maniko for finishing P2, P3, and joining us for the post-race press conference, and we'll switch to Katra, who will interview Boss Cookie, who is our winner tonight.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations to both the McLaren of Taylor and the Red Bull of Minico. But now we go to P1. On track, it wasn't necessarily meant to be because, well, at the last final moment, you try to get as much time to possibly give you a little bit of a buffer to Minico. It didn't work out, but you still won the Mexico City Grand Prix. You had to give it back a week ago. You got it back. A little bit of redemption.
I mean, sure. I was slow as shit, like, dog. I was doing like high 14s in TT. But it was a good race. I kind of just was the only one who didn't make any stupid mistakes, like Deer and Miniko and literally everyone else on the grid. Well, I don't know, maybe not everyone, but yeah. So it's a good race. I didn't really do much except try to hold Miniko up. I will say, I lost four seconds the last 2 laps, like 4 each. And Deer still couldn't get within 6 seconds, so that's on him. He just sucks, bro. Like, he sucked today. Like, Deer is just bad, but, like, I will shit on him, like, the rest of the week for this stuff, but, no, it was a good race. I had really good wet pace, but my dry pace wasn't good, so the wet kind of saved me. But, yeah, I tried holding him up. I held him up 8 seconds, actually. But, I guess they battled too hard, and they couldn't catch. So, yeah, not much more I could have done. I could have tried to hold him up more, but yeah.
Well, now with that result, that puts you closer in the championship, and well, you're kind of closing in, not too far away. 5 rounds to go. Do you think you have a shot?
At the championship? Not really. I'm not really. I kind of dropped that midway through the season. I am fully focused on constructors because we were over 100 points down, like 9 races in, and if we finish P1, that's like the biggest drop of the ball of the century in realistic tier. So yeah, I think I'm on a good rhythm. Past few weeks I've been good, pretty consistent, pretty clean. Japan just fucking sucks. But yeah, I mean other than Japan, I've been doing pretty good. Podium every race, so not bad.
Well, you have one more. Can you do it a week from now? What's your chances next week?
Well, it depends. I mean, I'm gonna let Deer win, no matter if he's in a situation too. But he sucks, so I don't know. Like, yeah, he should have won today. Like, I will rag on him so much, but he should have won today. And yeah, it just sucks that they kind of fell off at the end because I think I did a good job of holding Miniko up.
Well, that is up to, well, yeah, I can't see you did.
Wait, what was that, 5 times I dissed Deer? You want me to make it 6?
No, that was another counter.
I think it's
we'll
more
have
than
a
enough.
Time you come into the... We'll have a counter next time
I'm
you
kidding.
go into the
Deer's
party
great.
for,
I love Deer, but he should have won today. He really should have. But yeah, it's all good. A few more races to go. Deer's not against taking out Miniko. I'm kidding. That's a joke. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, once again, congratulations on your victory at the Mexico City Grand Prix.
Yep, thank you. Merc number 1.
Well then, that'll pretty much do it. On track for the Breakout Racing League Realistic Performance Championship and the Mexico City Grand Prix for round 19 of 24 of the Breakout Racing League Realistic Performance Championship. Well, myself, Hey Katra, Boy on the booth, from Cookie, Miniko, and Taylor Clan, the entirety of the Breakout Racing League Realistic Performance tier. We say thank you for watching, but don't go anywhere tomorrow. It starts again. The weekend of racing is back, and we're ready to go take on Mexico for the Mexico City Grand Prix in Tiers 3 and 4 at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Saturday, we have Tier 2 and Tier 1 at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. ACC, well, usually was divided between Tier 1 and Tier 2 on Mondays and Sundays. Now it's both on Sundays at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go have fun and watch some Exeter Competizione if you don't like Formula 1 racing. And then on Wednesday, we'll come back a week from now for round 20 of the Breakout Racing League Formula 2 Championship. But this time, we're going to the Australian Grand Prix, and I cannot wait. It's back. It's Melbourne. And then on Thursday, same place, same time, a week from now, for the cheer, realistic cheer, round 20 of 24. 5 rounds to go. It's the Australian Grand Prix. We cannot wait. But once again, myself, Hey Katra, the entirety of the Breakout Racing League Realistic Performance Tier, and the Breakout Racing League as a whole, we say thank you for watching, and good night.